Hey everybody, thank you for joining us today for Heather B's Daydream Birthday Hop. A few of us on the creative design team for my little scrapbook store are getting together for this hop, and for my layout that I decided to do, this is the sketch I got from Pinterest, and I'm gonna hop on in and start using. We're all using the Daydream collection. It's from Cocoa Vanilla, and it's a really, really pretty set. And just bear with me. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get my phone plugged up so I can get the sketch on my camera and or my phone, and that's a lot of times how I start. I try to keep it up on my phone so that way I have the inspiration right in front of me while I'm creating. So I really like this pattern paper here, and so I knew this was going to be my base, and I was trying to figure out like how long I needed to make it. So what I did is I first cut it at 6, so I cut the paper right in half, and then I trimmed that down to, I want to say, 9 inches, and then moved it up closer to the top, and that's going to be the base for where the photos are going to go and the banners for this layout. Okay, so for the papers, I have grabbed my 6 by 8 pad. That this paper was separate from her scrappy, which is what she calls a happy scrappy bag. And the happy scrappy bag, you got embellishments, you get the 12 by 12 paper collection. Um, it's really a complete set. You can really do a lot with everything that comes in it. The 6 by 8 pad was separate. So I got that because I'm also a card maker, and I thought this would be really great for that. And when I was doing this, I was like, well, why cut up the 12 by 12? Why don't I use one cardstock that I had scraps of, which I did, and I can also grab, one of the papers from the 6 by 8, because I can use scraps in my card sketches very easily too. So it'll be a win-win. So what I did is I cut a few pieces to a half an inch, and some at 1.5, and a few pieces are at 1, because I just wanted to have different sizes of banners. Also trying to be mindful, if it was a pattern that I needed it to lay a certain way, that I was mindful of how I was cutting the paper. Okay, so I grabbed some gray cardstock that I have in my stash, and I'm cutting it down to fit my photos. In the sketch itself, I think they have the photos at 2.25 by 3. My photos, the way that I printed them out of my cat here, um, are 2 by 3. So I'm not mad at the 1/4 inch. It'll be all right. So my cat here, this was probably when we first moved to North Carolina. She's been over the rainbow, the animal rainbow, for a couple of years now. But I still have some photos of her, and every once in a while, I like to just, you know, do a layout and remember her because she was such a hoot, a real diva of a cat. So I cut those so it's 2 by 3, and my matte paper, the gray paper, I cut to 2 1/8 by 3 1/8, so it'll have a nice gray border. So now I'm thinking about, what am I going to do for the spots right below the photos where they have the lines for your journaling and a title. And then I remembered that the 12 by 12 also has a cut apart page. So I decided to grab the Remember This out the center so that way I can use that for the title. Well, not where the title goes, because my title is going to go in a different spot. But where on the sketch you see there on the right side, upper right hand corner, where it says title, that piece is where I'm going to use it for. And then I decided that I liked the teared look, like when they make it look like it's teared out of a book or something. So I have a punch that creates that similar edge. So I'm just going to punch it real quick so it creates that edge. It'll be on the side. I'm going to ink my edges later, and that will help create a little bit of separation. But I want to also start getting some of the items down, and then that way we can start building up. I knew I wanted to put the two that were going to go underneath the pattern paper that I first cut. I'm going to create those and put it underneath. But I wanted to show you guys, I've seen tons of people on YouTube do this, and I was like, I know you can create a banner using like the square punch. Well, initially as I was trying to find my punch, I couldn't get to my square punch, so I had this little tiny flag, like it makes a little tiny banner, but I just wanted the V part. So I had to stick it from the inside out so that way it wouldn't cut off the paper itself. I don't know if that makes sense. But I wanted to keep my length, and the only way to keep the length was to have it kind of sticking out. And I'm like, okay, so for the bigger pieces, I'm definitely going to need the bigger square. So while I'm searching for that, all down below, there's going to be links to all the other designers who are on the hop. And I really hope that you guys go ahead and follow along. There's some really great ladies. I'm sure they're going to have wonderful projects. And I mean, it was so much fun. And this paper is really beautiful. So this is my 1-inch square punch, and I'm just putting it on the angle. And what I love about doing this way, you can kind of wiggle it and get it exactly where you want it placed, so that way you have it nice and even, and then boom, it's a perfect banner every time. Every time. I love it. So once we get that, and once I found the punch, it was super quick. You saw it was just like boom, 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 boom. We have banners. Um, I was able to really get ready here and start building up and getting ourselves together. So let's see here. I'm just bringing it back up so I know exactly where I'm putting my first two banners. I'm just playing with placement right now. And I don't know if you guys like to do this, but I find that it helps me to constantly throughout the process go back and make sure, okay, yeah, I'm putting this in the right spot, I'm putting this here, this is where this should be, okay, so this is okay, it's gonna work. I like these two together, you know. um I guess playing around trying to figure out your options, because as we know, I'm not going to have these two flags go all the way up, but I wanted to make sure, I was like, okay, I just need enough so that I have the amount hanging down that I want, right? I don't need all of that behind it. So I just made a little tick mark, and I'm trimming them down. So then I can connect them together and then attach it to the back of our main pattern paper, because they're the only two pieces that actually go underneath the main pattern. And this sketch, at first when I started it, I was like, is this too simple? Like, do I need more stuff? Like, do we need to be doing more? Like, it just felt very quick. And sometimes that's okay. You don't have to make it a huge, drawn out production. Do you know what I mean? As far as making and creating a page. Sometimes it's super fast. Sometimes it takes a little bit more because you're just not sure. But for some reason, I think it's partly the pattern paper. Everything just seemed to really come together for this, and um it just it yeah it just it was super easy. So for those of you who have never seen a video of mine, and those who are my regulars, you know I always use tape runner and art glitter glue. And the reason why I use both is because I need wiggle room. I need time to know that if I put this sucker down and I don't put it down in the correct spot, that I have time to pull it up, and I can always reglue and put down back in the correct area. And the other thing is that I'm not going to tear up my paper. So that's why I use both. Okay? Because I know people always kind of wonder, but I'm telling you, if you're that type of person who just needs just that few seconds, especially if you're using ATG or score tape, get you some wet glue, put it on the score tape or that ATG tape to give you just a few seconds. It's not gonna like give you 5 minutes to where you can play it around. Because if you get the if you get glue like art glitter glue or the I can't think of the other glue. Oh, the Scotch glue. Yeah, they're gonna dry quick. So it gives you a few seconds, time enough for you to notice it's wrong and pull it back up. Okay. All right. So now I'm grabbing speckled egg, and I'm just going around the edges of the cut apart, and then I'm also going to go around the edges of the gray paper just to give it a little bit of something something. It doesn't have to be too much because only a little bit of the gray is actually peeking out. All right, and then we're going to, let's see here, I'm trying to move stuff around and not keep everything all right there. Sorry about that. So I decided to go ahead and actually ink all of the banners and lay them down kind of where I would like them to go. I find that this particular banner wasn't deep enough for me. I didn't like how it was looking with the other banners. So I just took my scissors and cut it down a little bit more. And then this is going to be fun because I thank you to Jennifer McGuire. I'm trying to think. Christina Warner, I think she's used it before, and Amy R. Savvy, I believe that's her name on YouTube. They use a technique with press and seal uh, that I love, and when I think about it, I definitely use it myself. So we're going to see me use it here. I've laid out the banners basically in the order and kind of the way I want them to lay with each other. So to keep them that way, I'm putting the press and seal down, and I'm making sure that they're all nice and uh, taut on the press and seal, okay? And then what it allows me to do is now I can keep them where they are and just slightly pull them up, put a little bit of tape, and put it right back down. Or glue. Tape. Why did I say tape? You could use tape, but I was using the art glitter glue. And then lay it down. And that's all you do. And if there's anything on top that you can't get to while you're putting the glue on the back side, it's okay. Because primarily, all of it is going to be glued down. So when you take your press and seal off, it's all together. And it's all one piece now instead of all the individuals. And then I'm going to lay my photos back on it because I know I wanted it to basically go almost exactly like that. I knew where I needed to cut off my banners. And then I knew I was covered. Boop. And then there you go. So as I was looking at this, and I'm like, okay, it's coming together. I'm liking how it's looking. I'm like, okay, so I'm definitely going to sew right up above on the top. And I was like, and I think what I'm going to wind up doing is I'm going to wind up putting foam underneath the banners and underneath on the photo side too. So any part, this whole thing, which is now one big piece, I'm going to put foam tape on. And anything that stuck out where I didn't want it, I'm going to cut it off. So I'm going to cut a pretty nice size piece, and then I'm just going to fill up and put foam as easy as I can, on the ends, at the points, and stuff like that. So this part's a little boring, but just bear with me while we load it up, okay? So I'm putting the adhesive side down, and I started doing that more on layouts because it gives me time to figure out if I want to put something underneath before I glue it down, all that good stuff. And but if you're putting something down and you know um, where it's gonna go is it, then I would just put the glue on the non-adhesive side, put it to the paper or the project, whatever it is, and then when you're ready, all you have to do is peel back the other paper side, the adhesive side, and stick it down. You can do it that way too. All right, and then we're just gonna cut up a few more pieces. Now remember, this will wind up being flat to the paper. So the photo and the banners will have a little dimension. They'll be sitting up a little bit, and then those on the bottom, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue underneath. So this one, once I had it where, I pretty much wanted it to go, I'm going to go ahead and put that down. And then before I put my picture on it, I'm going to go ahead and sew that. So recently I got the We Are Memory Keepers sewing machine. I got it off of Amazon because they had a refurbished one. I was like, why not? So it was a super good deal. And what I'm doing is I'm just sewing with some gold thread. And what happened here was, I want to say it wind up extra came off. Do you see how it's sitting there on the spool? So I'm just going to wind it up real quick, and then I wind up having to rethread it. Um, but if any of you have this particular machine, just leave me a comment down below if you like it. I find it interesting because it operates like a sewing machine, but it doesn't have a weight of a sewing machine. And if you've never used a real sewing machine, you you probably won't fully understand what I'm saying. But like a Singer, a Brother, those sewing machines are not light. You can't just at times pick it up one-handed like it's nothing, okay? This sewing machine is light as a feather. I was like, is this real? Like, is this a toy? Like, it didn't feel real to me. But it works. It's putting the stitches on my paper, and that's what I'm most excited about. Would I use it to sew my clothes and stuff? Probably not. But for what I want it to do as far as, layouts and stuff like that, it's going to work great. So I'm pulling my threads through from the front to the back. And look at that fun rainbow paper. I'm telling you guys, if you can, go and get this scrappy bag. It's definitely worth it. This cocoa vanilla paper is so beautiful. I'm just finding out about this paper collection. I've heard of them, but I never purchased any of their papers. This was the first collection that I purchased. And I'm telling you, it was well worth it. It's good quality paper. I like the embellishments and the things that come with it, which we're going to use some on here. And so I'll talk about those. But I don't think you'll be disappointed. I really don't. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm fighting with my washi tape because I want to tape down the threads that I pulled through from the front. Okay, and then I was gonna trim those down. Oh, I did wind up. They're just little tiny pieces, so I'm just gonna throw those away. But anything that was longer, I kind of cut some on the side because I knew I wanted to put some underneath my photo area to give it a little bit of something something. Because I really didn't do any mixed media, but I just wanted to give it, a little embellishy. All right. So I'm trying to roll my threads on my hands. And I will say this, if you guys have ever checked out Missy Whidden, I think it's because obviously she's been using her thread in her projects for so long, and she just has a knack for it. She gets it to lay, she puts it under, the curls, the ends of the thread curl a certain way, and it's like perfection. I'm not there yet. So I tend to fight with my threads a lot. even though I like using them. But thankfully, this one wasn't too bad. I just moved them around and then pressed down, and luckily the photo collage with the banners, they secure the threads down and in place. So now they have, as I think one of the embellishments, these fabric hearts, which are super cute. So at first I was just going to use the one right where you see the flower, um, where the photo and the title, like the where the journaling is going to go. But I'm going to change it up a little bit. I am. Only because I don't think I need anything that big right there, but I'm gonna have something there, just not. Let's keep going. It's hard to explain. So I'm going through the embellishments, and I decided, you know what? I want to do some hearts. I was gonna do butterflies, but I decided that I wanted to use um, the hearts instead. And I was looking at some of the flowers and the rainbow. I was like, nah, that's not gonna work. I don't want the rainbow. So I decided to grab this frame. I'm not a frame person. I don't use them a lot. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to cut and just put a little bit of the wood right there. Just adds a little bit of something different. And if I want to put something over there, it allows it to kind of stand off, stand out. So I decided to get two of each color for the most part. Yellows, two different sizes, the light blue. Of course, I had to pull out the red. And then I was looking through and I found the small darker blue. And I think I wind up pulling out a green. I think I only do one green though. But it's just so I can have an odd number of hearts, paper hearts. Alright, and then we're going to keep going through. I do like this flower, and I think I wind up putting it there. I think, yeah, in that, almost in that exact same position. And then I was thinking about a flower there. I think I wind up doing a smaller flower. Yes, I think that flower. And then they also have some buttons, or I think they're called flare buttons. And that I will put one of those on there as well. And then I'm looking for, believe it or not, that fabric heart that I had. That's what I'm doing right here. Turns out I put it in with my ephemera piece. So I had to go in and pull them out. I was like, okay, doing too much. So I'm pulling that, and then I'm going through. They have a whole collection of basically titles. I'm going through because I know I saw my, and I'm like, oh, her. And I'm like, oh yeah, where's the my? So I had to go through it like 2 times trying to find the my. So that's going to be the title of um, my layout is going to be my heart. I didn't even notice that the O had fallen out. Don't worry, I wound up putting it to the side. So now I'm going to start gluing all my elements down. So I got the flower, the little piece of the frame that I wanted to use, and at first I put it down and I'm like, oh, I'm over top of my thread. So I picked it up and I get it underneath, and it works because of the wet glue. Yay. Now the red heart I decided to put with my sentiment, and then I was like, let's use up some more of these hearts. So I pulled out the yellow and the green, and we're going to put those down. And then, oh, I found the heart, and it has like a little smiley face. So I decided, it had some foam on the back, but I'm going to add a piece of foam so that way it can sit up just a little bit and then sit there with the flower. Super cute. And shout out to my bestie, Beatrice, who is also a part of the hop. She gave me the idea of how to glue these hearts down, because I was like, how are you supposed to attach these hearts? They're fabric. I'm like, Is there a special, should I use score tape? Like, I was trying to really figure out what to glue it down with. But the art glitter glue works like a charm. I'm telling you, this is a really, really good glue, y'all. I don't think you would have, you would be upset with this purchase of this glue. I've used it for so long now. But I do have a fun story about it real quick. We're just decorating, laying out the hearts, you guys. Um, but I had someone gave me a bunch of crafting supplies, and in those supplies I had a bottle of this art glitter glue. And I thought, I don't mess with glitter like that, so why would I need art glitter glue? So I wind up, I think I gave it away. I did something with it. And then, like, flash forward a couple of years, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, you can use it on anything? Like, it doesn't have to be just glitter? Okay, yeah. Knowing is half the battle, right? Okay. So, needless to say, I highly suggest it to everybody. And make sure if you get some art glitter glue that you guys do it before the winter, because it's not good to ship it in the cold, because it will make it, like, it'll separate and it won't act, it'll lose its what is it, the chemistry, I guess. So if you need it, do it now while it's still warm, and in some places, and you'll have some glue for the winter months. I always stock up when it comes to August and September, because yeah, I can't be without art glitter glue. Okay, so we're gluing everything down. And for the fabric hearts, I am using my block, my clear block, because I want to make sure that it's definitely adhering. Um, and I do cover the entire back with the art glitter glue. I definitely hooked that up. Now here, I'm putting down the green one, and I'm realizing I am right by some green flowers. Well, the green heart is like disappearing because of that. So I'm going to switch it. I'm going to do the bigger pink one down, so that way it still stands out. And then we'll put the green and yellow up at the top. So real quick, I'm going to lay down the yellow hearts, and then same thing, a little bit of glue up here towards the top. Okay. So everything is looking good. And then I remember, you know what else they have in this collection is some sequins. So I start grabbing some of those, and I'm just going to sprinkle those around as well. I also will be grabbing some, I have some gems from Pink Fresh Studio, which they wind up having sort of like a brown colored one, which is just perfect. It doesn't stand out, but when you tilt it and move it around, it gives the project a little something. It's just a little something something. I really like how it looks. Alright, and you can see I sprinkled them out, the different sequins. Here are the gems from Pink Fresh. And what I like about the gems from Pink Fresh is they come in different sizes. They're like, I know there's at least two. There may even be three sizes, but they fill it up to capacity, so it's kind of hard to see the different sizes. So I just grabbed some and put them out. And then if it looked like I had too many of the same size, I tried to go in to get either one smaller or bigger. Okay, and we're laying those out. And then to put all these down to the paper itself, I'm still going to use the art glitter glue, but I'm just going to grab my katana wand, and start picking them up and placing them down. The sequins were super easy to pick up. Some of the gems, they were easy to pick up, but it was hard to see which side was supposed to connect to the paper, because it kind of goes to a point, and I couldn't tell if the point was up or down. And of course I didn't grab my glasses, because I'm in that stage where you don't want to admit that you have to have readers on. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I had to take a little drink there. Throat was getting a little dry. But we're just going to go around and glue all of our little gems. You see, I'm like, come on. And some of them are so tiny, it's like, oh my god. please just pick up and kind of just slide them over into the glue. And then we're going to go up to the top, and then once we get this side all glued down, it's all done. So thank you guys so much for joining. Please consider, liking and subscribing, and hit the little notification bell so that way you get alerts whenever we upload new content, because we all try and post stuff, especially because of the items that we get from Michelle, the different collections and stuff. We try to share and show you what we do with it. So if you would like to see the videos from any of the design team members, definitely subscribe, but also hit that little notification bell, okay? Oh, and here I'm showing you guys I got a new pin from Michelle's shop as well. It's making it real easy to find to put it back into the art glitter glue. Win-win. So now comes my favorite part. I don't think a layout is done until I get the splatter to show its completion. So I decided to grab the Jen Hadfield art glitter, the gold. I think it's gold glitz. Hold on. I thought I had it right here in front of me, and oh, it is. It is called, oh, just gold glitter. But I want to say Michelle has this on her website as well, so definitely check that out. But I sprinkle that all around, and with the gold on the dark paper, it doesn't stand out like if you do black splatters on white or white on black. It's not like that. The standing out part comes when you hold it up and you tilt it and you see the shimmer. Oh my gosh, it's stunning. So to give it a little like a punch up, I grabbed the black soot, and then I started using the gloss whites from, yeah, I think it's Dina Wakely, if I'm saying it right. She has a glossy white, but it felt like it was clogged. So I put it to the side and grabbed the white picket fence and decided to hit the project with that. And I'm pleased. I love it. And it's done. I mean, it's a really simple sketch, but I just think it gives a lot of pop. And I had fun playing with this and remembering my kitty, who I'll write down funny story about, because I'm telling you, she was a hoot. All right, y'all. Once again, thank you for joining. Definitely leave comments down below. Like I said, if you guys have used that sewing machine, I really would love to hear your take on it. And if you have any other questions, I'll be glad to answer those as well. So make sure you hit the links down below to get to the next person on the hop. And I hope you guys have a great day. Oh, and happy birthday, Heather B. Hope you have a great day, okay? Bye.